This is David Schwartz with Lee ILB for Part 2, The Other Side of 50, TOS50.com. So we just talked about in Part 1 how you got to this point, and your son Jonathan and his, beyond heroism that day, on that dreadful day. So now I'd like to talk about the Tribute Center, how it came about, and
Sure.
your involvement in it.
Back in 2004, Jennifer Adams, who is now our CEO, said to myself, why don't we step back and rebuild our organization, September 11 Families, because our main emphasis was on the coalition up to that point. So 2004, we actually came to this building. Our office was here, and we overlooked the site. The site was still very raw, 2004. It only took 3 months before Jennifer realized that it was missing something, and that something was there was nobody here to explain to the many thousands of visitors if they were at the World Trade Center site, and where were the towers, what did they look like, what was the location, how many people died. So Jennifer, it took 3 months, and Jennifer said, why don't we lease that little building, as she pointed out this window, and we'll make it a visitors learning center. So I looked at her and I said, wow, we can try, nothing to lose, everything to gain. We met with the governor, we met with the mayor, we met with the Lower Manhattan Development Corporation, LMDC, within 2 weeks. Of course, they sourced, the governor especially, Governor Pataki, saw something viable here. And he said, we can try and help them. So that's how we started. The help came from a grant from the Lower Manhattan Development Corporation, a grant from the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey. So that's when the venture started. They gave us the grant, but they didn't give us people. So it was Jennifer and I, and we took on the mission of building the Tribute Center. In the process of building, Jennifer realized that it was very powerful to do guided walks around the site. So our guided walks started a year before Tribute opened. It was easier to put that into place. Our tours we do tours every day, 7 days a week, 4, 5, and 6 tours a day, depending on the day. Our guides are all people from the 9/11 community, and they're all volunteers. So you'll go on a guided walk with somebody who lost a loved one, a rescue worker, survivor who made it out of the buildings, in some cases twice. They were here in '93. Volunteers like Jennifer actually volunteered at the site for about 4 months. And then people who lived and worked in the area and watched that day and saw things that they should never see, let alone those people do, and that was to jump from these buildings. So our 170 guides now that do these tours, all volunteers. Who better to give a tour than people that lived it? Then a year later, the doors to Tribute opened up. We're a non-for-profit, which means all of our money that is generated goes back into our ongoing programs, keeping Tribute running, the organization running. Our biggest program, the biggest push we're doing right now is education, enlightenment. We find it very difficult to understand how there isn't a state in our country that has any type of curriculum to teach the history of 9/11. And that's not a state in our country, including New York. So our young people, 9 years later, aren't getting the education of how this happened. Who did it? Why did they do it? And to do that, we've got to go back and talk about radical Islam as opposed to good Islamic people, which I know many good Islamic people. We can't be afraid to do that. We can't let complacency set in. So our drive is education. Our drive is in Tribute to have people come in. We've had almost 2 million people come through our door.
Tell us what's inside the doors.
There are 5 galleries. You're going to go into Gallery 1, and it's going to be a gallery that's going to show you a 5-minute video of what it was like to be here, work at the Trade Center. It starts from its inception, '64, groundbreaking, and we'll say it goes up to September the 10th. It's a friendly gallery, but you'll realize that you'll never see it again other than in video. Then you go start a timeline. We start with 1993. We progress through the events of 2001. We speak about the Pentagon. We speak about Shanksville. Of course, we speak about 1993. You'll hear actual walkie-talkie communications from firefighters in the South Tower as they're going up the stairs. Very strong, very dedicated, with a mission, and that's to get up and stop those people from jumping, try to put the fires out. There'll be another video which focuses on search and rescue. It'll last for 5 minutes, and it'll take you through what these men and women did here for 9 months in 5 minutes. Then you'll go into Gallery 4, which is a very powerful gallery. It's a gallery, it's a family room. We asked family if they would like to contribute one photo of their lost loved one, maybe their favorite photo, and we would make space for them. So when you go in there, it is a bit overpowering. From there on, we want to change you. We want you to be leaving tribute with a positive note. You have to leave saying that tomorrow can be a better day, and it's up to us to make it a better day. So we want you to smile, and we will make you smile. You'll go downstairs, you're going to see cards that visitors have filled out. I mentioned we have 2 million people come to tribute. The important thing is, what do they take with them? We have over 175,000 cards filled out by our visitors from over 135 countries. 50 or so of these countries, people have written in their own language. And the world speaks here, and they say the same thing over and over. We have to find a way to stop hatred, terrorism. We have to learn to live with each other regardless of our differences. Every country. And we have people that have come here from Iran, Iraq. It's no different. They want to live in peace.
We're going to go to part 3, and then we'll focus on tomorrow being a better day in part 3.